Welcome back, All Sports West New York. In studio, my guest, Vic Carucci from the Buffalo News. And Vic, always a pleasure to have you in studio.
Great to be with you.
And you know, now you came back in town to cover the Bills. That was where, around September?
Late September of 14. Yeah.
So you haven't been back a full year, but what a year you've picked to come back, because, you know, we have talked about this. The Buffalo Bills, and especially under Russ Brandon, have always been very good at selling hope for next year. Whether it's a refurbished stadium, whether it's one particular player they signed in free agency, a draft pick, a coach. There's been plenty of coaching changes. Last year, there was a lot of excitement about this team coming back, second year under Doug Marrone. They had showed some signs of hope. They had drafted Sammy Watkins. Expectations were high, and E.J. Manuel was coming back from an injury, and again, the hopes were high. They had a good season, not a great season. They had a decent season, didn't make the playoffs. But now, with Rex Ryan and this infusion of free agents and a whole new coaching staff, am I wrong, or is now the expectations probably as high as they've been since the Super Bowl years?
Well, certainly the expectations are there, Bob. You've got that right. And I think the selling of hope has never been stronger, as you say, in the history of a franchise that has done this exceptionally well. And I think that the graph, if you're trying to graph this thing, was trending in somewhat of an upward direction toward the end of 2014. And then you had that crazy stretch of Kyle Orton's surprise retirement, of Doug Marrone's surprise resignation, and then it seemed like the bottom was falling out. Amazingly, though, back to the hope meter, or whatever we want to call it, it has shot through the roof, thanks to, we know, the series of moves beginning with the hiring of Rex Ryan, the overall belief that the Pegulas owning this team is a good thing, a great thing, not only for long-term security for the team, but in Western New York, but what people have seen in the money that's been spent, $90+ million in guaranteed money, more than any team in the league, telling that story that this team will do what is necessary to be really good. So that has built the hope in ways like never before. And it does feel different going into this draft, even without a first-round pick, because I wondered about that. This will be, you know, maybe the reality is going to set in Thursday when people are kind of sitting around waiting and waiting and waiting, and the Bills doing nothing until Friday.
Yeah, well, my sense is that people are going to feel like, who cares who they get in the first round? We've got players ready to go. I mean, last year they found out with Sammy Watkins, who was a very exciting pick. I mean, he had a couple of good games, but he wasn't an immediate impact player that changed the complexion of the team.
But, Bob, you know what changed from last year to this year really is the narrative from Doug Whaley, the general manager. Because a year ago, he basically talked leading up to the draft about the idea of building around E.J. Manuel, that they had their guy, they had their franchise quarterback. Obviously now that's changed, and he said at the recent pre-draft luncheon, this team obviously does not have a franchise quarterback, so that doesn't speak well of EJ or of Matt Castle or anyone else they have on the roster at the moment. But it also says to me, just what you said, that what they have around the guy, what they have at other positions is strong, and to use his word, you've got to be perfect elsewhere. So there's a lot of confidence on Whaley's part, and I think mostly well-placed, and on the part certainly of Rex Ryan and others in the organization, the ownership, that there is strength foundationally on this football team, and with a strong running game led by LaShawn McCoy, with the strong defense that Rex Ryan would lead, that overall you can sort of overcome this, and that will be, to go back to that word hope again, the hope that if the Bills are going anywhere this year, those are the two areas that are going to carry them, and the quarterback position, they'll win in spite of the quarterback position not having that franchise player.
All right, Vic, you ready? Because I'm going to challenge you. I mean,
let's go.
These first couple of questions, this is right in your wheelhouse. I put the ball on the tee.
Yeah,
now it's time to challenge you.
See what right out of the studio.
Because I don't know how much of a hockey fan you are, but the Pegula ownership, now let's face it, the Pegula ownership of the Sabres has been a debacle, okay? They've been the worst team in the league 2 years running. Whether it was intentional or by accident, the record is the record.
Yes.
There's some hope for next year with a Jack Eichel, et cetera. Yet, now the Buffalo Bills have yet to play one game under Rex Ryan, but across the NFL, the consensus seems to be the Bills have probably done the best job since the end of the last season in preparing themselves for the next season. Why the difference in how the Pegulas have approached the Bills franchise as opposed to the Sabres franchise, in your opinion?
Well, I don't know that they've approached it differently, and I definitely don't want to go too far out of my depth in trying to analyze the moves with the Sabres. From what I can gather, Tim Murray has an excellent reputation as a GM, but excellent reputation or not, bottom finishing is bottom finishing, and those who I think want to have that hope, faith, again, are going to go the route of saying this is intentional, that you have to bottom out before you can rebuild, and this model has worked in other sports. I mean, mostly I think outside of the NFL, but it's worked in other sports, and especially I guess in hockey, the instances that I've seen cited. But it still doesn't feel right, and it still doesn't have that. It doesn't have that confidence building sense that you get that the team and everything is in good hands. But I guess we'll have to see those results. The NFL is a whole different ballgame, a whole different league. I think what they took over from the Bills standpoint compared to the Sabres, what they took over foundationally had something very strong in place. This defense was really good going into the 2014 season when their ownership was obviously taking hold. So I think they had that in place. They didn't expect the coaching change or to have to make one after barely 1 year of ownership, less than 1 year of ownership. They didn't want to do that. But the fact that they even navigated that, I think, reasonably well, to get that name person in here, in Rex Ryan, to build the excitement from his personality was impressive. And then, step by step, to listen to what his way is in building your team, and Greg Roman, his offensive coordinator, to say, okay, these are the pieces you need, and that guy, Doug Whaley, sitting next to him, instead of it becoming more of a debate or more of a philosophical clashing of heads, it became a cooperative effort with the Pegulas standing by saying, look, we do this together. Terry has talked about the bonding that's existed there. Maybe there's the difference right there, Bob, and I don't want to, again, over-analyze what's going on with the Sabres, but at some point it seemed like there was a lot less of a cohesiveness at the top of the Sabre organization, certainly, than what we see with the Bills right away. That's just my early guess.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. There's no way the Bills could ever possibly even attempt to do what the Sabres did, because the fans would never put up with the Bills trying to be the worst team in the league. We've lived those years, you know.
You don't have enough games also to do that.
People wouldn't buy tickets.
Right.
It's unbelievable to me that they're still able to sell out season tickets for the Sabres with the with the product they're putting on the ice.
It certainly is. I mean, obviously it speaks to love and passion for hockey in this area. Something to do in those cold winter months.
Right. You know, Vic, so you handled it well. I knew you could take all the tough questions.
Thanks,
He's the best.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're actually going to talk draft, and we're going to talk about some of the players that we could see in a Bills uniform next year, and talk more about the 2015 season. All that with Vic Carucci coming up right after this.